What's going on? How's it hanging? How's it happen? You guys know this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast. Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. It is the 19th of July and we've got a friend coming back to the podcast today. Yes, sir. Someone who's been on the podcast twice already, come back for the third time, but with a different band. Don't worry, they're still in that original band they were on the podcast with too. So this is just more we're bringing them on for. Yeah, so I hope you like some pop punk goodness. Before we get started, I want to thank our sponsors for today's video. So let me ask you a question. Say you're out on a date and, you're starting to get a little, tense up there. Maybe you're, whatever your underwear is, it's scrunching up and, chafing. You're like, oh, dear God. So basically, question is crotch discomfort hurting your game? Fear no more, because the king of crotch comfort, our sponsor, Manscaped, have spent 2 years designing the most comfortable boxer briefs out there. They're sleek, they're soft, they're comfortable, and they're flexible. The brand new Boxers 2.0 from Manscaped will take your balls to the royal ball throne. Now imagine this. Imagine you're out on a date with someone and, for some random reason, that Manscaped waistband on your Manscaped Boxers 2.0 start, peeking through. What does that say? It says there's a man there that really takes care of his boys down there and makes sure that he is spick and span down there. So, your date's going to be like, oh, he takes care of himself. With Manscaped, they're the global leaders in below the waist grooming. They have the Lawnmower 4.0, the anti-chafing ball deodorant, the crop preserver, which I personally attest to every single time on this podcast. They have made my legs never chafe since I started using it back in 2020. So, oh dear God, yeah. And now you get the Boxers 2.0. You can be chilling and feeling everything. They've even trademarked the jewel pouch. Yeah, so it's serious if they trademark the pouch where your boys sit. So I think it's time you invest in your family jewels with the Boxers 2.0 from, where's the logo? Manscaped right there. So let your bulge breathe, let your bulge breathe and get 20% off and free shipping using our code CPP at manscaped.com. Remember, CPP discount code manscaped.com, 20% off and free shipping. Oh yeah. Now I want to also remind you that we are sponsoring the When We Were Hungry Festival happening in Las Vegas, October 20th and 21st of the year 2022. And yes, if you go back to April when we had Will and Mal from the festival on the podcast, you can find out all about it and find out all about the story of turning memes into dreams, pancakes in the pit, and tickets are on sale now. So you're going to want to go and do that because you get to check out bands like Modern Day Escape, like Along Came a Spider, like Saving Vice, like Varsity, like our friends in Outlier, and Palisades. Ooh, yeah. Also Dropout Kings and even more. Oh, dear Lord. Yeah. You're going to want to go to this. You're going to want to throw down for pancakes in the pit with myself as well. I'll be there both days. So be sure to get your tickets at whenwewerehungryfestival.com. So go to the description of the podcast. The link is there. Be sure to go and get those tickets. Let's have some fun. Pancakes in the pit, turning memes into dreams. Let's go. I'll see you there. Oh, yeah. Now to our featured presentation. So you guys remember the band Seasons from Richmond, Virginia, right? They've been on the podcast twice. Absolutely love it. Well, their guitarist Nick also has a pop punk band called Almost Gone. And Nick reached out to me saying they have a brand new song coming out on July 22nd called 306. And was asking if he could, be on the podcast. And every time I've had Seasons on the podcast, it's been fantastic. So you absolutely know that I said yes to this. Of course I did. So we talk about the band shooting the video for 306, the investment that they're making themselves to make this the best release possible. Along with that, we're talking about how they're going to get the word out. We're talking about what to expect from the song. We're also talking about just the idea behind the music and just this constant idea of positive nostalgia when it comes to a time in life where, you could do a lot of different things and your responsibility level was oh so low. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the pop punk glory that is Almost Gone. So welcome Nick and Connor to the podcast. Are you ready? Oh yeah. Let's go! Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. You might recognize one of the guys in here right now. You might recognize Nick because he's been on the podcast 2 other times with the band Seasons. And yes, we know that band is good. I mean, come on. We were at Blue Ridge Rock Fest with them. They took a crowd of 500 and turned into a crowd of 5,000 for a 25-minute set, which was fucking awesome. But Nick's got another project as well, a pop punk band, and we're here to talk to him all about it, along with his drummer as well for the band. So please welcome Nick and Connor from the band Almost Gone to the podcast. So first off, Nick, welcome back. And Connor, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
Thanks for having us, man.
Dude, thanks for having us. Always a good time getting to chat with you.
Always a good time getting to chat with you as well. And also welcome, Connor. So first off, I mean, how are you guys doing today? How's everything going on your end when it comes to Almost Gone? Everything coming with your music business, just due to the fact that, you know, we're in the second half of 2022 already. Pandemic style seems like it's completely gone. So what's going on? And I don't know what Nick's doing, but he's taking it. Well, that's a fake shot.
I'm shamelessly promoting my own merchandise. That's what I'm doing.
Fair enough.
Exactly.
No, dude, things are good. We actually just rehearsed. We practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays if we can. And so we just got out of that. But yeah, things are good. We are busy as shit. Getting ready for a show at the end of this month. Getting ready to release our upcoming single. The day before that show, that we have our highest budget video we've ever done. Locked and loaded, ready to be released for. So yeah, a lot of really exciting stuff.
Dude, that's some good stuff. And I mean, when it comes down to it too, I knew that you were always doing the pop punk stuff with Almost Gone as well, Nick, just of course, because, you know, ever since everything with Seasons, been following you on Facebook as well. I'm just constantly also seeing, you know, all the stuff for Almost Gone, you know, pop punk, having a lot of fun there. So I'm like, okay, you know, eventually I got a feeling this is going to end up happening. So boom, now we're doing it. But also, well, Connor, question to you. How's it been going on your end, man? I mean, I don't want to, you know, just talk to Nick the whole entire time. I got to talk to you as well.
I'm not that
No, I got you. Yeah, no, Nick's easier to talk to for sure. Filming the music video was a really cool experience. It was like our first for Almost Gone, like legit, as Nick said, like the highest quality production value wise. And the guy that filmed it was just amazing. And like, I give him so much credit. Once people can see this video, I don't even know if we're supposed to like share the name, but yeah, it was a good experience. He like knew what to do, and like the way he filmed stuff was awesome. So it turned out really well, in my opinion.
So with this being your highest budgeted like music video to date at this point, what was the process like of actually like going through something like this, working with someone for a video like this, and then putting it all together? Just how was that whole entire experience?
So my experience with music videos is they're a bit of an endeavor. Like I didn't, it's hard to kind of realize it when you watch a music video, if it's like, you know, some people partying or something like that, some cool scene. It's hard to, you don't consciously think about like all the planning and everything that goes into it. So with this video, we worked with a guy named Alex Hyder. He is the, you know, videographer, and he's done, his biggest client is Ace Hood. I don't know if that name rings a bell to you. He's a rapper from Miami. But he's also done videos for Motionless in White, Memphis May Fire. He's worked with some big dogs, and so he's got like very legit equipment, very legit lights, legit camera, all this stuff. Really can like, he really has an eye through the lens of like, you know, it's one thing to have all that stuff, but to know how to use it to make us look a lot cooler than we actually are, which is what I think he accomplished, is something else. So for this one, for 306, we had a couple different like settings that we were considering, that we talked about. It's, you know, it's really a collaborative effort. And there was a lot of planning. A lot of one of our settings completely fell through the week before. And it was like, oh shit kind of thing. We had to all get on calls and figure out what we're going to do and find a substitute. But no, it all turned out awesome, and I cannot wait for people to see it.
Well, shoot, now you got me more excited for it when it, releases, especially, depending on when this is going to come out, which we know when it's going to come out in terms of both the podcast and the song. Basically, just kind of thinking about this. I can't wait for it to come out later this week because this is going to be awesome, especially with this, working with Alex with, again, you're saying he's working with, bands like Moses and White, Memphis May Fire, two bands that I really enjoy, not only watching, but also, seeing their music videos, listening to their music. So now I'm excited for this. And the fact that you guys, had a couple different concepts in terms of settings that you could go to for something like this. I mean, right now, my mind is spinning on what could this music video possibly be, especially the fact that I've got to listen to the song, got to really dive deep into it. So I've got some ideas, but I don't want to take a bunch of guesses and get it right and spoil it because I want people to have to go and watch this in order to really see what you guys are able to put together.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil too much either. But
same,
dude, I'm stoked for it. It's I
will say that during the filming of this music video, it's the first time that I had to drum the song probably 15 times in a row, end to end. So that was a very awesome but interesting experience. For everyone's take, drumming the entire song for 15 times in a row. But it was cool.
I kind of want you to go a little bit deeper than that. What do you mean by that? Because is it somewhere it's every single shot, you guys did a continuous shot in different settings and then you had to do it 15 times in a row? Or was it for everyone's individual shot, or how did that work? Because that just seems a little odd to me. But again, I'm not in the music video making business right now. So I kind of want to know a little bit more about this.
So without trying to give too much away, it's it was only for a cut of the music video, so just taking scenes out of there, and just for the action of playing as a full band, the guitarist individual shots were shot, but I always had to be in the background hidden stuff, so that's kind of what I meant by that. But yeah, there were definitely some setting changes that I don't want to give too much away about, I guess, but it's really good.
Yeah, dude, when you do a music video, you end up playing the song way more times than you ever could want to. And when you're on camera, something about the camera takes away 20% of your energy for some reason. So you have to really go completely over the top with it. So it was it's kind of like playing a really long concert, but you're going way harder than you normally do. You're headbanging harder, you're throwing the guitar harder, you're slamming it down when you hit a chord, you're jumping up higher. You have to really overdo it to make that land with energy at the end of the when the music video is actually said and done. So the next day I felt like I had played a really intense football game or something like that, just neck sore, legs sore, everything sore. But yeah, that's the way you do it. That's the way we do it, at least, because we don't know any other way.
It's waking up the day after Thanksgiving after you've played the good old turkey bowl and realize that, not as limber as I used to be. And you're trying to get up oh shit.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. You feel like you got hit by a truck.
Ooh. But one thing you did say too was when it comes to the camera, it seemed taking 20% of your energy away when you're just playing. I think another reason behind that too is, you're playing this and it's not in your rehearsal space, but it's also, it's in a different setting. So you're in a different mindset. You're out somewhere. So it kind of feels like it is a live music setting, but there's no crowd there. So there's no crowd to bounce that energy off of and to get the energy from them. So you have to go above and beyond and overcompensate for that in order to, match an energy level that you're going to put out during a show that you want to put out there for the video. But on top of that, you got to go over the top to make sure that you don't miss out on anything. So when you're throwing guitars around, I mean, kind of, if you end up breaking a couple of snare drum heads in the video, which I kind of hope you do, because that would be kind of cool, but also a little expensive because I know snare drum heads aren't, the cheapest thing in the world, but it's just something that adds more to it. And I understand the energy now you guys have to put out there, especially because you're not getting energy back from, what's watching. You're getting energy. You're looking at a camera that's watching you, and the camera's just stagnant. That's not giving you energy. That's ow.
Yeah.
You feel
honestly, for me, once you hear the music though, so we were playing it over some PAs. I feel once you hear the music, it's easy at least for drumming wise for me, Nick has to do all this stuff. All the guitarists have to move their bodies. Like at least I can sit down. But yeah, just like once you hear the music, it's not like if the cameraman's telling you to go harder, it's like you're just gonna start going harder, like for the music video. But it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Nick and the other guys have to start moving around even crazier. And for you, it's like, go harder. It's you just got to make sure the arm movements are a little bit more amplified.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe
Go full gorilla with it.
Yeah. Just, ah! Hey, you gotta do it. You gotta go crazy like a gorilla because, we gotta honor Harambe's memory 6 years later. Rest in peace, King.
Always.
Rest in peace to the king.
Always. Always. So with this being, the highest budget music video that you guys have done to date, right as we're about to, you're about to roll it out, about to release 306 as well as a song, what's the plan to make sure that this music video, not only for it being the highest budget, is both the most popular and also the one that gets almost gone to like that next level where you guys want to go to? So what's your plan to make sure that this video gets in front of as many people as possible?
Talking to cool people like you.
Exactly.
No. Yeah. So it's the social media, music video, YouTube game, especially once you throw TikTok in, is a really weird, confusing game. But our plan of attack for this one, so we want to chat with music fans about it, such as yourself and some others that we know that have radio stations and things like that. So we have that stuff planned, but we also so we've done a little bit of research on YouTube ads, Google ads. That's something we haven't done before, but avenues we're going to chase. We have a cameo in the works from, I can't tell you because he might not do it, but from somebody from a band you would definitely recognize. And if it comes through, I'll tell you right away if he comes through with it. So we have a cameo in the works to promote it from somebody who's much more famous than we are. What else? Spotify playlisting has been a big boost for us, at least. I mean, obviously in the Spotify numbers, that's something we're going to be chasing. And then we had Alex make all these like promo clips for us. So like specially cut for Instagram. And it says, 306 new single by Almost Gone that we're going to blast all over Kingdom Come. The same thing, we have the same thing cut for Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, so we can blast it all over our social media platforms. So that's a strategy we're taking this time around. And then also the boots on the ground game, the word of mouth game, which is I think it is both the least and most effective method at the same time, because if you're a megastar, there's a lot of people to be talking about you. But if you're, on the smaller side, you may not have as many people, but the ones that do are like awesome ambassadors for you. And I think we're in kind of that position. It's just like with any brand. If you can get somebody to tell their friends, hey, this is a good brand, this is a good band, a good, product or whatever, that is way more powerful than any YouTube ad I could come up with or any Google ad. That endorsement by somebody who's a fan is huge. So yeah, that's how we're going about this thing.
Oh, when it comes to like the boots on the ground kind of style and like word of mouth, I totally agree with you on that, where it's the hardest one to do, but it is the most effective if you're able to do it. Because even from my own perspective, like there's some bands that the only reason I've gotten into them was because people have told me to go and listen to them, when beforehand I would have never gone anywhere near these bands in a million years. Like almost 4 years ago, literally Motionless in White, I never would have gone near him because I would have looked at Chris Motionless, especially during like their Graveyard Shift run. I've been like, this dude just looked like Marilyn Manson. Why would I want to listen to like another Marilyn Manson type guy? But someone told me to listen to him, and it took 2 songs for me to be like, whoa. So if you get people that are really into music to also tell their friends about it, there's that inherent trust that, these people, you trust them, you know them. And if they're going to recommend something to you, especially from a music standpoint, they kind of know your same music taste at the same time as well. So it's much more effective than, someone posting about it that doesn't really just kind of like just randomly posting about it. But it has much more of this like powerful connection when it is that person they have that personal relationship with somebody. It's a lot more likely they're going to do it, but getting to that point is definitely where the difficulty comes in.
Yeah, dude, that's how I got into Slipknot. I mean, one of the biggest bands in the world right now, but they were really weird at one point. They were like, "Oh, you like that band? You're a weirdo." I remember I had this friend who showed me the song "Sick," and at first I was like, "I don't know about that one," and he's like, "No, dude, it's good." And like the more I listen to it, I'm a huge Slipknot fan now. I think I got one of their records hanging up on my wall right now. But yeah, like that's the like somebody who is like an advocate for it. That's like, in my opinion, the most effective way of spreading the word there is.
No, absolutely. Connor, have you ever experienced something like this?
So Nick and Zach, our bassist, are like the social media chairs of the band. So they're really good at like finding new avenues to like do this. But I totally agree with Nick that like having an ambassador to like spread the word is probably like the most powerful way to do it. So Nick's been doing a great job like networking, and he's just like good at being in a band. So always solid to have him as our leader, our fearless leader. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
I was honestly expecting you just to stand up and look at Nick and just go, "Oh, Captain, my Captain."
Exactly.
I'm really scared
I'd
of
show up
bees.
and hit stuff. I'm scared of bees.
I'm not fearless. I'm scared to death of wasps.
Okay, but take wasps out of the wasps out of the picture, and then fearless leader.
Still scared of hornets.
All right, take any stinging insect out of the picture.
All right. Now we're getting somewhere.
Now we're getting somewhere. Now it's good. But I do like the fact that, from my standpoint, I do like the fact that you're approaching this from many different avenues, learning more about YouTube and Google ads to make sure that, you know, when it comes to YouTube, that you're getting this music video in the sights and in the view of a lot of people that are pop punk fans, to really be able to get a chance to get to look at this. Heck, there's been a good number of bands that I have found literally from scouring YouTube, and all of a sudden, I'm watching a music video for, I'm just gonna use Motionless in White example, because I think this honestly was what happened. This was in 2020. Motionless in White, I'm just trying to watch one of their music videos, probably was Eternally Yours, and all of a sudden this song from the band Envisions over in England, like a song of theirs came on. I just wasn't really paying attention, so I didn't change it. And I liked it, and I'm like, holy shit, this is good. Then they came out with a new album this year, and I got to interview them off of it, because I'm like, I got into the band off of that. So it does work in that aspect, because, yeah, you know, the music video, it might be like 3.5 minutes long, 4 minutes long at times. But the fact of the matter is like, it's something for people to kind of like get into and like sink their teeth into. So if you're listening to something that's more passive, you gotta wait that 5 seconds to skip. Some people might not skip. Some people might just let it roll and let it go. And all of a sudden, that's going to potentially gain another fan, and it's going to get you a view on YouTube as well, as long as people are watching enough of it. Avenues for social media, doing those different cutouts as well to promote it and just blast it everywhere. It gets people to take a look at it. And please send me those cutouts as well, so I can post it as well to help, you know, make this a little bit more of a thing, and just get this, you know, get the song when it's ready to come out, get more people to know about it. But that cameo, if you're able to get that, again, I have no idea who it is, but I'm pretty sure that when, like, you know, if it happens and I see it, I'd be like, okay, that makes total sense on why they would get that person. But having something like that, it just also adds a little bit more to, you know, whoever that person is, their fans. It's like, okay, you know, they're saying, you know, check this out. I'm a little bit more likely to check that out based on the fact that it might be a similar style of sound that, as a fan, I am really into. So that could be like, that's a smart investment right there.
Well, that's the idea, and that's why we had to pay for it. Because you're literally, I mean, you're asking somebody to endorse your brand. I mean, that's really what a cameo is. You're asking somebody from some other band to say, hey, check out Nick, check out Almost Gone's new song 306. Like, they are literally endorsing it for you, and they're giving you free reign to blast that video wherever the heck you want to. So yeah, it's the kind of thing that they kind of take on a little bit of liability, I guess, from that standpoint. But no, like you were saying with discovering bands through different YouTube ads, I had the same experience that you were talking about with Envisions. I had the same thing with While She Sleeps. I was listening to Bullet for My Valentine, and it popped up before one of their songs, While She Sleeps. This was a couple of years ago. I remember I was at the gym, And I was like, yo, that's dope. And so yeah, that's the hope with us is we can hook other people into us with a snippet of 306.
Yeah, and on top of that too, it's not going to be something where, it's going to be the biggest like end all be all thing. It's not going to be the thing that's, going to take you guys from where you are now to all of a sudden, potentially like doing a headlining run all across the United States. It's going to take more time to get to that point, but it's something where more people are going to have a chance to get into the band. It's something for more people to get their ears to listen to this stuff and to get attention to it, because I mean, for me, Envisions, for you, While She Sleeps, not paying attention to the YouTube ad and then just hearing the song through that got us into those bands and got us to listen to them, all off of us just being passive. And there's a lot of people when those YouTube ads come on, they're in that passive state, but sometimes they might forget to skip them a little bit, hear more of the song, and all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, this is good stuff. Fuck yeah.
Exactly. And like the second you see the quality of this, like, like 4K, like it just like the professionalism of the video itself, like right away, and like us jamming, it's really good.
Oh, that's just going to add even more to it, because then people are going to, of course, if they're in passive, listening to it, they're going to end up looking at the video at some point, either to skip it or just to see, okay, what's this band's name? What's the song? And if they see that 4K quality to the music video, they know that, this wasn't something that you guys just slapped together. This wasn't something that you guys just crudely put together. Like, you put the time and effort into this, and that's just going to end up showing through when people watch this stuff.
And money. And put the money into it. Yeah, dude, I agree with you. And I was listening to a music industry podcast earlier. I like to do that. I learned so many like kind of, I don't know, I guess tips and tricks that way. And even a band as big as, say, Envisions or somebody of that caliber, I bet you, I don't know those guys, but I bet you if you asked them, I bet you when they release a single, they still are going like balls to the wall with it, trying to advertise it as well as they possibly can, kind of like we're doing with this. And in one of the podcasts I was listening to today, they were talking about social media tips. And the guy said, a lot of bands, they need to come to terms with whether you're brand new, you have 10 followers, you have 100 followers, 100,000 followers. You need to come to terms with the fact that you're kind of always going to be struggling. Maybe not struggling is the right word, because that implies that you're barely getting by, but you're always going to have to be clawing at getting the next video bigger than the one before. The next song has to be better than the one before. The next promo campaign has to be smarter than the one before. That's the way you're going to grow is you just got to be okay with putting your head down and grinding. And so, I think it's probably easy to think like, some big band like, oh man, they got it made, they're probably in cruise control. And maybe a lot of them do. Maybe if you're Motley Crue on a stadium tour that you didn't even want to do in the first place, maybe they're in cruise control. But I bet you 99% of artists out there, no matter their size, are grinding. I mean, even if they're big.
Yeah, I think a perfect example of that is just take a look at Bring Me the Horizon. It's the stuff that they're doing is all over the place. And it's like, yeah, it might seem like it's on cruise control at the same point too, but the creativeness behind it. I mean, they put together like a festival in Malta for themselves and had it be just like absolutely insane. So, when it comes to just, it's not, having this idea of like, you're always going to be chasing the next big thing, but it's going to be that standpoint of, you might get to the top, you might get to that point of where you want your band to be overall, because some people, want you're going to want to be the biggest band. You're going to want to be on a level of Bring Me the Horizon. Some people might find happiness just being more of a national act or a regional act. All depends upon, as a band and as a person, what you guys find as your happiness and what you guys find as your success point. But it's always going to be at the same point, not just clawing to get to the next level, but also clawing to make sure that, and working your ass off to make sure that you are consistently at that successful, happy point, and that you're not going to fall back. It's not, the struggle of getting it. It's also the struggle of keeping it.
It's kind of funny you brought up Bring Me the Horizon. I was watching their clip from Hellfest 2022 before this interview started, and they're one of my favorite bands because they're so they always feel like they're ahead of the curve. I would say the same thing about I Prevail. I don't know how to describe it exactly. Just every album sounds fresh. It doesn't sound derivative. It's not like there's so many Breaking Benjamin copycats in the world. And I love Breaking Benjamin. I'm not taking a shot at them. Honestly, it's a compliment. There's so many people knocking them off, or Linkin Park, or Papa Roach. And I love when bands are trying to be innovative. Like Bring Me the Horizon, I think they're probably the best at it, at least in their genre, in my opinion. And you know, with our music, that's something I've really tried to be intentional about, especially as of late, is trying to step out of our comfort zone of how we create music. So like we just released a song called Mirror, and there's like it's a pop punk song, but there's like a rap verse. I don't know if you've heard it yet. But if you listen to it, there's like at this rap verse, I'm kind of rapping it, and in the studio, I like screamed it underneath. So it's like this rap scream thing that would sounds kind of like, you know, something like Attila would do. And so like, you know, what I was trying to do with that is like, you know, Attila has been doing the rap scream thing for maybe 5 or 10 years. I don't know how much, you know, rapping over top of the screaming they've done, but I don't know any pop punk band that's doing that. And so like what I'm trying to think is like, you know, how can I take these influences I like, the pop punk stuff, the metal stuff, the hip hop stuff, and combine them into something that's unique, that's, you know, special to us, that we're proud of, but is exciting to other people. It, you know, is not derivative. That's something I'm really, you know, really trying to be intentional about going forward, so that things don't like get stale for people.
No, and like when you said Breaking Benjamin, like that was the first band I thought when you kind of had that like copy kind of like same feel throughout all their music. But credit to Breaking Benjamin with the fact that they found a sound that they absolutely love, that is at their core, and that, you know, people still get into with every single album. If, you know, they're kind of like the poster child of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then you're bringing up other bands, you know, Bring Me the Horizon right now, always ahead of the curve on something. I Prevail. I mean, Linkin Park, you know, in the 2000s, who was more ahead of the curve than Linkin Park was? It was nuts. And Papa Roach is like, this is like, we're like in the third phase of Papa Roach's career, because you had from when they came out to about 2012. Then when Face Everything and Rise came out in 2015, that was like the second phase, and the next two albums were a part of that. And now this new one with Ego Trip, it's like, this is the third phase for Papa Roach going forward. But they're continuing to reinvent themselves. They're continuing to be popular, and they're going on a huge tour in, you know, late July and all throughout August with Falling in Reverse, Hollywood Undead, and Bad Wolves. And they're like the headliners for it. So it's just like, yeah, something is definitely there when you're kind of not necessarily, you know, you're trying to be ahead of the curve, but when it's something where you're also just, you know, focusing in on not trying to constantly play catch up. You're constantly trying to think of, what can we do that's different? What can we do that's fresh? What can we do that's new, that also fits in exactly with what we want to do, so that when we're playing our music, everything still has this, you know, cohesive kind of flow to it, where you know it's almost gone, but everything also, it's like you don't know exactly what you're going to get, but you know you're going to get that sound at its core.
Yeah, I think that's a challenging thing, making it sound like you, but it's not, but it sounds like you, but it's different. And then kind of challenging yourself to like make every song better than the one before. That's tough. That's hard to do. I think a lot of people, I don't know how often this happens in the music business, but reach out to others, step outside of your band, get influenced that way. A girl named Amanda Perry, who's awesome. She helped me write the lyrics for Mirror. And she helped me tremendously. The version that came out, in my opinion, was way better than the original version I wrote. So I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of like egotistical behavior that keeps people from wanting to do that. It's like, no, I got to do it on my own. But man, the energy's out there. The help is out there. Reach out and get other people to contribute. I mean, shoot, I don't think Elvis wrote any of his hits. You know, there's no shame in it. So
I'm pretty sure it's really well documented that Elvis did not write any of his hit songs. I think
he wrote anything at all.
Yeah, I think
That's
it was
crazy.
just like, just kind of like, oh, you're a cultural icon who's just able to just, hack into basically the media of the 50s, take it, use it as basically as the catalyst to just get anything going for you. I mean, playing Hound Dog on, I forgot what, late night show it was where he first played and he's swinging his hips around on live TV. And then the national media goes crazy saying it's like overly provocative and sexualized. And we look at that today and we're just like, that's pretty tame there, my guy. But at the time, it was like the guy knew how to hack culture, and all you needed behind it was just that you needed the music to get people to move, and it was all the personality, it was all the style of Elvis. It wasn't, the fact that he was making these singing these great songs. He was an icon, but again, it's also knowing exactly how to hack into the culture of the time frame you're in, hack into the media of the time frame you're in, and make it the most for yourselves and like take the advantage on it. And kind of going back to that collaboration style thing too, especially with the internet now, and everything went through the pandemic where we were constantly talking to people online. We had to basically become experts at that. So many people are out there. So many people are there to potentially help you out, to help you with your music, help you with give you an idea for something, whatever it might be. But the most important thing you have to do is ask. I mean, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott. So
that's right. Leave the ego at the door. You'll be better.
Yeah, I totally agree. When we're like coming up with new songs, like I definitely don't want to play like similar beats. It's kind of tough sometimes when you're like creating a lot of new songs at a time to like not to differentiate like the beats between songs. So I definitely ask for feedback, Nick's feedback, our other guitarist Rod, he's really good at all the instruments, so I asked for his feedback, and then like it just helps create like at the end the final product like it's like what we want it to be.
Helps create that final product that is fresh, different, but also still has the same core of your sound at the same point in time. So when you're trying to do so many of these different things, again, it's kind of like, look, I'll use Bring Me the Horizon as the example where every song I listen by them, I'm like, I know this is Bring Me the Horizon, but it doesn't sound the same, and you got to figure out kind of like what, like I look at a good amount of those bands, like Bring Me the Horizon. What do I find is like that similar counterpoint all throughout it that is a Bring Me the Horizon song, and it's Ollie Sykes. And then a little bit once you get to Sempiternal and on, you got to add like the electronics that they do in there with Jordan Fish, and that creates this core sound for them. Linkin Park, I mean, the bounce between Mike and Chester was that. I mean, listen to Meteor, listen to Hybrid Theory. It is there. I Prevail, I think it's more in the instrumentals. Like, there's just something about them that just connects every step of the way where it's like there's something where you listen to it's like, yeah, I kind of have this feeling that this is I Prevail, even though it could be something like, you're listening to Bow Down or you're listening to Hurricane. It's just like, but it's still the same band and it is. So it's just all about, listening to your music, finding kind of like what's that point for you guys that just stands out. And then that's kind of like could be the focal point of this is where the core comes from. But everything else, we can do whatever else we want.
Yeah, there's a lot of lately, one thing I think that's exciting is there's a lot of hip hop influence in pop punk. And but there's not a whole lot of metal, pop punk, and hip hop influence combined. That's where I think there is a market opportunity. Nobody's doing it. So the fact that I just said that, somebody's going to take that idea and do it 10 times better than we ever could. But yeah, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I try and keep my ears open for now. Like when I listen to songs, I try and imagine how would that beat sound with a palm muted Les Paul over top of it. Like I try and imagine that way.
Interesting. And well, because even thinking about like some pop punk bands too, especially with the folks, I mean, pop punk kind of having this new emergence once again, especially thanks to like the stuff that's going on TikTok, and the fact that hip hop is also, a very prominent, a style of music that is on that platform, along with, all over pop culture as well. You're seeing a lot of that influence in there at times, but what you're saying about metal as well, I know like one or two different pop punk bands that are also trying to infuse metal like into their sound as well. And it does work out. But if you're going to try and do all three, now that's something that is going to be like, it's a tough challenge. It really is. But if you're conscious about it, it's like, here's an idea for a song that we have, and all of a sudden, what can we do with like this hip hop beat? What can we work with this metal style? What can we do with this to kind of potentially put everything together? If everything, you can throw all these different things together as long as they flow cohesively through, and the song sounds like it's flowing from one piece to the next seamlessly, and there's no like random breaks in between. I mean, hell, you can have a random pause and just completely change, the energy of the song if it calls for it. But if you're able to pull off something like that, my God, you'd be hitting on so many different potential like ideas and sounds and styles where people would look at you and be like, that fits. It's kind of like when Linkin Park first kind of came out. It was like people were like, this fits together. And Linkin Park became, probably the most popular band of the 21st century so far. I would put them at that right now, but of course, they'll probably end up being overtaken at some point at the moment by Bring Me the Horizon. We'll see what happens though. But right now, I mean, it all started with them trying something completely different.
Yeah, I think Hybrid Theory was my first like CD back in the day. So I have always loved Linkin Park a lot. So good.
See, you got the influence right there with Connor. You just loving Linkin Park at the same point as well with that, classic, just, that child love. Like I got my first CD, it was Hybrid Theory. So you guys got that mindset going, and like that makes me even more excited for not only for the release 306, see what happens with it, but going forward to see what else you guys might end up releasing, what else might take on, and just go from there. I'm getting even more curious about this right now.
Yeah, we have we have 306, of course, and then we have the follow-up recorded, the follow-up recorded, and the follow-up written, not recorded yet. And that song, that's my problem. Like I'm always like the most excited about the most recent thing we did, even though it's going to come out the farthest into the future. And in that one, we're trying to get a guy. He's moderately well known on that track, and but yeah, it's going to be tapping into that metal, rock, and pop punk influence like all together. Hopefully, that's a vision I have in my head at least.
I'm just thinking about this too when it comes to like mixing pop punk and metal. I mean, pop punk with breakdowns, that was like that's a day to remember right there. And take a look at like what they did with it. I mean, when it comes to pop punk, there's so much you can do with it. But at the same point in time, it's, what can we do with it that's different than everybody else? Because you take a look at the bands that did something different with it. Like, Blink-182 did something a little bit different with it, and they took off. Fall Out Boy added like this emo feel to it, and they took off. A Day to Remember, pop punk with breakdowns, and they're doing arena shows. Like, no problem. They're selling out freaking arena shows with this stuff. So if you guys are able to create your own, like this own like, new thing for it with your own type of experimentation, with all the new stuff you have an idea for, I mean, it's going to be like what Dogecoin should have done to the moon.
Yeah, my theory, and this is going to sound so painfully obvious, but my theory is one of the challenges is just being really good at that niche you're trying to do. So there's a lot of bands that have tried to do pop punk with breakdowns. Almost nobody's as good as A Day to Remember is at it. Just Jeremy's voice, his versatility in his voice, the screams and the catchy choruses that get stuck in your head. He's very good at it. And then you have to combine that with, the band being able to market themselves and adapt to a constantly changing digital landscape where, TikTok wasn't even talked about 3 years ago, at least not in the world that I live in. I bet you in 3 years we'll have a new social media platform that's just as popular as TikTok. So it's rapidly changing. And I mean, the truth of the matter is you gotta be trying to keep up.
Oh, absolutely. But the fact that you understand that is the key, so that, again, when it comes to constantly clawing, making sure that, the next single is bigger than the previous one. The next video is bigger than the previous one. Your reach on everything is previous than like the last time you went out and did some type of campaign for anything. Like that kind of mindset behind there, and knowing that, understanding that theory at the same point in time as well. That's something that's going to mentally set you guys apart from a lot of the other bands that are, they might get some success and it's like, okay, we got some success right now, and they feel, that they kind of just are going to end up riding that wave, and it's going to eventually get to that point. No, you got to keep going at it. You got to keep clawing at it. And even a band like A Day to Remember, I mean, when Homesick came out, they still had to keep clawing. They still had to keep going.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like Post Malone's, what was his first big hit? White Iverson, is that what it was called?
Yeah.
That was massive, but it's like nowhere close to the biggest thing he's done. Everything he's done beyond that has been much bigger. So if he had just sat on that, he'd be like Vanilla Ice is today, one massive hit single, but that was it for him. But that's not the route that the guy took. He's gotten bigger and bigger ever since. So I mean, yeah, that's the way to do it, I guess.
I don't think you could have made a better analogy with someone who kind of had had success and then kind of just rested on that than when it comes to a music standpoint than Vanilla Ice.
Have you ever watched the VH1 Behind the Music with Vanilla Ice?
No.
It's interesting. He has an interesting backstory. He had a rough life. It's crazy.
I want to check that out.
So this is picture the late 80s. When he was coming up, hip hop was not even a national thing, really. It was more of a East Coast, West Coast kind of thing. And he'd be playing at these clubs. He'd be the only white kid in the club, and that never deterred him. And he talks about the knife fights he got in the back of clubs, and how he one day he met MC Hammer, and MC Hammer saw something in him and brought him on tour, and that was what really started to break him. And then Ice Ice Baby came out, and that blew him up, and then his fame crashed. So he went shoom with his life, and then shoom. It's a crazy story, dude. It's really rags to riches to rags, I guess, back to riches. I'm assuming he's doing all right today.
Well, yeah, I know. I think he was flipping houses or something. I know he's been in a couple of movies. I mean, he was in I think he was in an Adam Sandler movie or something. And when you're in an Adam Sandler movie, I mean, that you got to be doing something right.
Dude, you've made it. If you are in an Adam Sandler movie, if I'm ever in an Adam Sandler movie for any reason, that is it for me. I retire. I will never exceed that. That is my peak in life, and I'm okay with that.
You just got to find the next movie Adam Sandler is making and just pitch, hey, if you guys need some sort of live band for any sort of scene, let us know. We'll jump on a plane anywhere you need us to go, even if it breaks the bank or something. No, because people are going to want to know. Let's play original music though, because who is that band? Yeah. Oh, let me tell you. And then all of a sudden, woo!
Then we'll have our Vanilla Ice.
Nah. You guys got the mentality to have that. Woo! And then all of a sudden, even if it starts to crash, no. We're going back up.
God, we can only hope.
We'll hit up Adam Sandler soon for sure.
Oh, you better hit up Adam Sandler. But also hit him up and go, gotta add that in there.
That was pretty good. That was pretty close.
Close, but not close enough. I'm not gonna be able to be at the if he hosts SNL again, they do the Sandler family reunion. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to be a part of it. It wasn't that good.
What's your favorite Adam Sandler movie?
Oh shit.
Let's see if we're on the same page with this one.
I like Billy Madison, but I also like Mr. Deeds.
I would have to go with Happy Gilmore.
Yeah,
Connor and I are on the same page, and so many things, it's freaky. Yeah, Billy Madison's my favorite. Connor and I are Linkin Park is one of our favorite bands from our childhood. Our favorite movie is Anchorman. We don't discuss this stuff ahead of time. It's just kind of it's the way it's worked out somehow.
Yeah, that's very true. We also went to the same high school, so
I actually used to live in Connor's basement. Isn't that weird?
I was still in college and I lived in my parents' basement. They
for 6 months. I lived in Connor's parents' basement right when I got out of school.
You guys basically are the same person. My God, this is kind of freaky.
Yeah, they traded sons back and forth. They traded Connor away to go to college, and they took me in for a little while, and then they decided they'd had enough of me, and they kicked me back out. But
now they want to trade again. So no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was gonna say they didn't tell me that.
I feel like I could pitch this as I feel like I could pitch that as a Twilight Zone episode.
Just swapping sons. It's probably on TLC already, Son Swap or something.
It's like trading spouses, but with sons.
Yeah, exactly.
Your son sucks. Take him back.
Yeah.
This kid's an idiot. Doesn't clean anything. Never cuts the grass.
That's an idea, though. What if you guys did like a YouTube series instead of like wife swap, son swap, and just kept going back and forth? I mean, it wouldn't be anything, super duper, had to be like crazy over the top, but basically just make a like mock TLC show.
Dude, that the guy Alex
That sounds funny.
that filmed their music video, his one of his other gigs is he films TV shows. And I was asking him about it, about one of the shows he was filming. It was like a dating show. And I was like, how real are those? Is it really reality dating? And he's like, it is to a point. So like when they're on the date, if the date starts getting boring, like this is for TV, it's got to be entertaining. Somebody in the back, he said, would hold up a sign like, spill your drink on her or something like that. Tell her shirt's ugly or something. So that she'll get mad and like fight back, and they can make a TV show out of it. So yeah, we could have a TV show. It could be like bassist swap or something. We swap bassists with another band, and we just have to like fight the new bassist to make it like entertaining enough to be on TV.
That might actually do something. Holy shit!
I might be onto something here.
We might be onto something here. You guys,
I have a lot of ideas. I'll be the first to admit they're not all good ones, but a couple of them are.
Hey, we've all had bad ideas in the past, too. One time I thought firing water balloons from a moving car at people was a good idea.
Was it not?
That still sounds like a good idea.
It was a good idea until people started chasing us.
Yeah, but you could run faster than them, right?
Well, we were in a car, and then, we weren't in the fastest car in the world. They all jumped in. Like, where was one time we did it at a parking lot where a bunch of street racers were because we had our last couple of water balloons. And my buddy who's in the front seat hook shots it over the car, and it lands in this pickup truck bed where these two girls were just laying down. And we're like, oh! And we see all these guys scramble for their, like, fucking, like, Honda 2000 tuners, and we're just like, oh, fuck! We just bolt out of the parking lot, and, well, we kind of knew the neighborhood better, so we were able to get out of there a little bit easier, and luckily not get run over by a bunch of street racers.
Dude, I would fall over laughing if I had seen that.
It was pretty good. We're about like pretty much at like the 10-year anniversary of that actually happening, which is kind of weird. Like looking at like the day and the year, I'm like, holy shit, that was like 10 years ago already. Fuck, I'm getting old,
dude. You'll like this. So 306. I read a lot of the lyrics for the band, and the lyrics for 306 were inspired by our Connor and I went to the same high school, so we went to the same beach week trip, and so Connor and I and maybe like 10 other friends, we rented this condo, and this condo was made for like 4 people max, but we jam-packed all of us in there. And this is Ocean City, Maryland. So the first night we're there, they give us the keys. We're 18. They're like, all right, no drinking, no parties. We're like, yeah, whatever, bro. He leaves, and we have like a massive rager that night. I mean, like shit was popping. And at the end of the night, I guess somebody tipped off the landlord. He came back, and he was like, you like stupid ass kids, you do this again, I'm kicking you out of here. Like, he was pissed. He was heated. Like, he made it very clear we were on our asses if we did anything acted up again. And so the next night we had an even bigger party. Like, we had the biggest party in that part of Ocean City. This shit was rocking. And he came back and he called the cops, and the cops came and busted up the party. They made us pour out. So we had so much beer that they made us pour out. And anyway, that's the inspiration for 306. So if you listen to it and you hear lyrics about last night we had the biggest rager in town until the cops came and shut it down, we'll do it again. We don't care if we offend. That's what that's all about.
Holy shit, man.
I can't wait for like our boys from who went to Beach Week with us to hear this song so they can be like, I was there.
Yeah, they'll immediately understand for sure.
Yeah, they'll hear it, and you're just gonna like, this will be their face when they start listening. They'll listen to it, and all of a sudden they're gonna start like picking up on it. It's just gonna go from like them kind of jamming out to just,
yeah.
They made a song about that.
Yeah.
And I was there. Fuck yeah.
Exactly.
My God, because even for myself listening to the song, of course, I'm going to try and find where the meaning comes in. And my whole entire idea of was like, I picked up on like, being younger, being in high school. And really what I kind of picked up on it was kind of like that party until the cops come shut it down kind of thing. Kind of, when we were in high school, it was like, we were going out and doing stuff. But like why people kind of look back at some of those times with such, high nostalgia and such positive nostalgia, even if at times, some of the experiences were really crappy. I think a lot of it is based on the fact that, we could do a good amount, but we didn't have a lot of that adult responsibility on top of it. So we missed that feeling of, the free feeling of being able to do so many things without having to actually have that adult responsibility the next day. It's just like, when you're younger and all of a sudden you're throwing a rager and the cops come, it's like, yeah, you pour out your beer, you get an underage drinking ticket, and that's it. But it's like, if I did that now and I had a gigantic rager, I'm probably getting like, tickets for property destruction, disturbing the peace. I don't know what else the fuck I'm getting. I'm having to go to court and probably having to fight this thing for like 5-6 months at the minimum. But like, just kind of thinking about that, it brought back this massive positive nostalgia about, fun times you had back, when you were younger, maybe high school or college, because you were able to have those fun times, but the amount of responsibility was so much less than it is today.
Well, yeah, you got money now.
Yeah.
Now they can come after you. When they see that you're a dumbass, broke 18-year-old, they don't give a shit. They can't get anything out of you. All you're going to be doing is taking up jail space.
Yeah, now at 27, it would be like, yeah, you're going to take up jail space, but we can get your money out of it.
Yeah, dude. Plus the cops would come and you're like, we're all like well over 21, so yeah, we'll be more quiet. Have a good night.
Yeah, it's not like they could do anything about it anyway. No, dude, you're exactly right. I mean, those days, I think a lot of people look back at those times in their life and with such like fondness. Yeah, I think that might be a good topic for the next song might be when I was 22 and I graduated from college. That month after I graduated was probably the most carefree time in my life. Like, my life is awesome now. I love my life now. Don't get me wrong, but that time period, man, right after college, I had no school, no job, no apartment to pay rent on, no mortgage, no 401k, nothing, man. I'm talking nothing. And when we graduated, a bunch of my friends and I, we had this one friend. He's Greek, like full on Greek. His aunts, uncles live in Greece. His grandparents live in Greece, and he invited us to come to Greece as like a celebration. So we went. So I went to Greece under those conditions with like no responsibilities. Dude, you don't. I don't know if it's possible to ever experience that level of laid back ever again. It was dope though. Yeah, that might be a good song topic next.
That would actually be a really good song, because I mean, you're talking about that and it's already taken me back, just like, because you're talking about, you're going to a different country, just carefree, whatever the hell happens. Your mind is at this feeling of just like, I don't give a shit what happens. I just am going to make this the most fun possible. We're just going to have a blast. It literally took me back to my 40 hours when I was in Amsterdam and literally nothing made sense, but all I knew was I had a good fucking time, and I didn't care how much money I spent. Like, I had that carefree mentality there. I was 24 at the time. I'm like, fuck yeah. If I was throwing money out, I was going to fucking throw money out. But I actually got, I paid for 40 hours. I paid for one drink, and that was it. I got all my other drinks for free. So I was like, yeah. So, kind of having that, positive relationship to that. People are going to listen to that song, and they're going to think about times like that they had in their own lives. And it's like, holy shit. Again, adding on to that feeling of, being able to do so much and being so carefree, because the responsibility that you have as an adult is still so low at that point. Now it's like, we're further along in our lives, and of course responsibilities are there. So some of those things, we're a little bit more cautious of, because, we do some of those things and we could potentially get thrown in jail and they'll take all our money.
We'll get fired.
Yeah, and we don't want that right now.
Yeah, now we just express it through music.
You ever heard the Chris Rock bit about everybody just needs a mortgage, because a mortgage is what makes you act right? It's like when you're a kid, you drink and run from the cops. When you're an adult, you won't do that because you got a mortgage to pay. You won't do something stupid and lose your job because you got a mortgage. The mortgage is what makes you act right.
That actually does make a lot of sense. Not gonna lie. So maybe we just need more people that have mortgages.
I guess maybe that's it.
I guess we just solved a shit ton of problems here in America with just that.
Yeah, there you go.
But jumping back,
I got solutions. Problem is nobody comes to me for the answers.
Well, here we go. Here's a start.
No, but dude, you said something about people will listen to a song and they'll insert their own experiences. In all seriousness, that is something I'm also really like passionate about. I'll go back to the Linkin Park example. I loved Linkin Park. Think about a lot of their songs. What the heck were they even about? Like breaking the habit. What habit was he trying to break? Nobody knows, and that's why it's so good. It could be any habit. It could be a drug habit. It could be I'm breaking the habit of going back to my toxic ex. Anybody can insert their experiences in that and be like, man, this band gets me. Like they understand it too. That shit is powerful. I think Linkin Park and Slipknot have done whether it's intentional or not, have done a beautiful job with writing songs like that. So that's kind of my hope with some of our music. So people can be like, yes, I'm right there with you.
No, absolutely. I mean, for me, it's those songs where you're able to, they have a specific meaning behind them for whatever artist made them. But when the lyrics and how they sound, it's the metaphor is enough for not to, completely just like be so abstract, but it's not specific enough. So it's perfect to guide you along the emotional journey that's happening, but you insert your own personal experiences into those songs so that you can understand more about yourself and you can connect with them more while still going along the same emotional path that so many other people are going on. And that's how we all connect to the same music where, we're all in the crowd. We're, and for bands that we absolutely love, we're in, along with thousands of people, we're hearing a song that's deeply impactful for every single one of us. It's deeply impactful for 1,000 different reasons for 1,000 different people. But we all connect to it on the same emotional base. And that is, I want something when it comes to those bands that are the biggest bands, the ones that are most influential. That is one of the reasons why.
That's what it is. It's powerful.
And even jumping a little bit back into 306 as well, because like doing like my whole entire, look at the song and just like run through it. I mean, kind of looking at the intro of this is where my thought process was initially going, like, and all of a sudden taking me right into the idea of, going back to a time where still having a lot of fun and the adult responsibilities were so low just because the intro, like, it kind of had like this like rougher, somewhat punk style guitar. It sounds like it's a little bit out of tune and has some higher pitched fills in there to really create this feeling of like an intro to the like a 2000s movie that is like some sort of like something about like any sort of like, teen issues or anything like that. Like one of those like teen, rom-coms, comedies, whatever the hell it might be. And it made a lot of sense overall because it perfectly puts you back into that mindset at that time. Like, you're looking back at something so fondly based on the lack of responsibilities that you had to deal with. And it just puts you right in the mindset right away, just off that guitar tone. It's just like, am I going back to like, watching Euro Trip or something? This is fucking awesome.
Yeah, American Pie. It was American Pie vibes.
Oh, hell yeah. But then it's like, even as you go through the song, it just keeps coming up and you just keep feeling that same kind of vibe from the vocals, from the instrumentals. You keep feeling that, feeling of, having fun and just not having to deal with the responsibilities as much. You just get that positive nostalgia feel and you put all your own like times into it. Because for you, you're going back to Beach Week when you wrote this song. For me, listening to it, I'm going back to between my junior and senior year of high school where basically, I was I home ever? Pretty much not, because I was always off doing something stupid. Like, again, the whole entire water balloon incident, or I don't even remember some of the, I can't even remember off the top of my head half the shit we did, but it was just some of the most ridiculous stuff you could ever imagine, just because, why the hell not? Pretty sure we broke into a freaking, a quarry that, had like a reservoir kind of thing, and we just kept jumping in there from like 30, 40 feet, cut down the fence too, because, yeah, why the fuck not?
Hey, that's the time to do it. You're gonna do something stupid. That's the age range to do it.
Absolutely. And it just, like, the song just brings you right back to it. So I think when people especially listen to this one right off the bat, they're going to just connect with that nostalgia feel, but they're going to easily go back and relate to something in their past where they were just carefree, responsibility free, just having the time of their lives.
Yeah. Totally agree. Yeah, that's the hope. I hope so, man. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what
talk to more cool people like you to get the word out.
Well, I hope you guys do talk to more cool people like myself because, well, we need to get the word out about 306. We need to get the word about Almost Gone out to the people, out to the public. And yes, and Nick with the shameless plug of the merch, but that's what we're here for, the shameless plug of the merch. Oh, yeah. So you're definitely going to want to get into some of that. And honestly, like when you look at this song, it is so much fun to listen to. There's even a little bit of a breakdown bit in there that kind of had like that feel like, you know, pop punk break, a little bit of a Day to Remember influence in there. And it made the song just stand out so much, even more so, because you bring some of that heaviness in there and it's just like you're getting that added feel, a little bit more of that impactful feel and a little bit more of a difference in the song as well. So it doesn't get like, you know, as it runs through, it doesn't feel like it's getting mundane. Like there's those small little tweaks in there, those small little changes in there that get you to go, whoa, 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 whoa. And there go my headphones.
I hope it makes other people's headphones fly off. I hope they're going nuts over it and shit falls off of them too.
Just like that, yeah. I mean, if it happens, well, you saw an exact personification of it, so woo!
That's the hope.
That is the hope. That is the plan. And for everyone listening, again, the song 306 by Almost Gone. Remember this. It is coming out on July 22nd. So do we want you to forget about it? No, we're not going to let you forget about it. Trust us. You're going to find it all over the place with the help of myself, with the help of everybody else these guys are, you know, talking to about this stuff, and whoever the hell else is able to talk about this song. We're going to make sure you don't miss out on it. That is the plan. So as we bring this podcast to a conclusion, Nick and Connor, one thing I would like to do at the end of this is give you guys a chance to say whatever you want to say, plug whatever you want to plug, promote whatever you want to promote at the end of the podcast. So gentlemen, floor is yours.
Real men eat dessert first. No.
Sports.
In all seriousness, first thing, thank you to everybody that's listening to us. Everybody who's following us on Facebook, Instagram, that stuff is, I mean, it may seem like a simple thing, click that like button or the follow button, but it really does help us tremendously. You know, the status of bands today is really dictated a lot in part by their social media numbers. And if somebody looks at a band and they see, oh, they have this many followers, they kind of take the band more seriously. So everybody who's following us and listening to us, huge thank you. If you're not following us, look us up, facebook.com/almostgonerva. That's an R, the letter V, the letter A. Almost Gone RVA. Instagram, Almost Gone RVA. TikTok, Almost Gone RVA. And YouTube, Almost Gone RVA. Please, please, please go on there, hit that like button, that subscribe button. Really helps us out.
Yeah, and to add to everything that he said is very valid, but if you happen to be in Arlington, Virginia on July 23rd, come up and see us at Renegades. We have a show that night and it should be pretty fun.
Well, if you're in the Arlington area, you better go to that show. I mean, fun? Who doesn't like fun? If you don't like fun, then I don't know what's going on, but you want to go to that show because fun. And you're going to have a blast. So, yeah. I mean, you know what they say? F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. And it's for anywhere, anytime at all when you're seeing Almost Gone play live. Yeah.
Dude, that should be our new intro song.
Yeah, just SpongeBob it. I mean, who doesn't like SpongeBob as an intro song?
We take the stage, we'll have that playing over the PA speakers.
Oh, God, that, you know, people would definitely be into it if all of a sudden they heard some SpongeBob. You know, it's like, how do you know the show's getting started? You know, you got the music in the back kind of going a little bit mellow, and all of a sudden you start hearing some SpongeBob songs at more volume. You're like, it's about to start, yeah! And then all of a sudden you guys come on, blast of energy, let's go. We're having a good time now.
There you go. Thanks for the idea. We'll have to take it and run with it.
Punk rock, SpongeBob.
Definitely do it. So now it's time for me to end this podcast with 3 very specific things. So first things first, you heard what Nick said when it comes to supporting Almost Gone. You know, when it comes to social media likes, when it comes to those Instagram follows, when it comes to them on TikTok, you know, when it comes to subscribing to their YouTube channel and watching all their music videos and getting into the music, subscribing them on whatever social platform you're on, or I say whatever streaming platform you're on, it all helps. It all does so much. So you're going to want to, you know, Follow the band on all their social media stuff. You're going to want to subscribe to them on YouTube. You're going to want to subscribe on whatever streaming platform you have, because you're going to want to be able to watch the video for 306 when it drops. You're going to be able to and want to pre-save that song, but so that, when it comes out on the 22nd, you're the first one to hear it and you're like, oh my God, this is good. So be sure to go and do that. And I'm going to help you out with it. So go to the description of the podcast. Here it says, Find Almost Gone online. You're going to see labels for everything, links for everything as well. So all you have to do is click and hit the like button. You got to subscribe, shit, all that fun stuff, buy some merch, all that great kind of stuff. It's going to be in the description of the podcast for you, along with a link where you can get tickets to their show on July 23rd in Arlington. So I'm taking care of all this stuff for you. All you got to do is like their stuff, listen to it, watch the video, subscribe to their stuff, and go to the show if you're able to, because, well, who wants to, miss out on fun? Not you. That's who. So now it's time for number 2. And I know, Nick, you are very familiar with this, being on twice beforehand, but kind of this is your first time on here. So second thing is, whenever I have bands or guests on the podcast I've enjoyed having on, I tend to make a certain promise, and you guys definitely, are keeping this streak rolling. I mean, it's happened 100% of the time. You're keeping this rolling. So when I get to see you perform live for the first time, this is my promise to you. It's a when, because it implies it's going to happen. Date, time to be determined. When I get to perform live for the first time, I promise you both is this. And that is, first round's on me. Also, Nick, I still owe you like three of these. So don't think I forgot about that.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. I'm keeping a tally.
It's going to be like, I'm going to end up coming, it's going to be like, I'm going to have to come like with a case of beer just for you to be like, this should do it, right?
Yeah.
We'll accept this. We'll accept
go down the list and check you off each one.
It's like, I accept this as tribute. Here you go.
I accept this beer.
We'll make it happen, man. It'll happen at some point. So, gentlemen, as we bring this podcast to its conclusion, I cannot end this podcast by saying goodbye, because that implies that, it's the last time we'd ever speak. Nah, I don't like that. So, because, well, let's be honest, made the promise to you guys, and I'd love to keep going and talking to you guys in the future, helping you guys, promote your music in the future and do more stuff like this with you guys. So can this be goodbye? Fuck no, it can't be goodbye. This is going to be see you later.
See you, man. Thanks so much for having us. For real.
Well, folks, that's my interview with Nick and Connor from the band Almost Gone out of Richmond, Virginia. Remember, just, supporting the band in any way you can, liking their social media page, subscribing to their stuff, subscribing them on their streaming platform of your choice, watch music videos, just buying some merch, anything goes a long way to help make sure that, any band we've had in the podcast and our friends here as well continue to, be able to go after their dreams and find success and find happiness. So be sure to listen and watch a video for 306 when it drops on July 22nd. Be sure to go see the show in Arlington, Virginia on the 23rd of July if you're able to. And go follow, share, like, subscribe. Let's see what else is there. Listen, buy some stuff from all their sites. So go to scripts of the podcast. You'll see Find Almost Gone online, and you're going to see the labels, the links, everything. I'm doing all the work for you guys. No excuse. You're getting it Almost Gone. You'll thank me later. Also, make sure you're following and subscribe to the Chord Progression Podcast on social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Just, to keep in touch with us. Have some fun with us. I mean, we post a lot of crazy, wacky content on there. Live streamed every single Wednesday night on Instagram at 9 p.m. Central, where you can come talk, shoot the shit with us, and have a good time. And also, subscribe to the Chord Progression Podcast here on YouTube, or you can subscribe here on Amazon, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, and wherever else, you might be listening to this. So please go and do that. If you're already subscribed, a big thank you to you. If you are not subscribed, please, you'll make me happy. Please. Okay, now I'm starting to act weird, but please do. And, thank you for your support as well. Also, thank you to our sponsors, one being Manscaped. And remember, don't let your family jewels just bounce around all over the place. Make sure they sit in the Royal Ball throne on the Boxers 2.0 with the patented jewel pouch. Oh, yeah. I mean, they trademarked it. They invested in it. They're invested in your boys. I mean, you're going to be on a date, and if your date ends up seeing the fact that you're wearing, Manscaped boxer briefs, let's be honest with you guys. They're going to know you take care of your boys down there. They're going to know you take pride and joy in your family jewels. Yeah, you're going to know, they're going to know you care about that. So, that's a good sign. That's definitely a good sign. Remember, 20% off and free shipping using the code CPP at manscaped.com. We also want to remind you that we are sponsoring the When We Were Hungry Festival happening October 20th and 21st in Las Vegas, Nevada. Tickets are on sale now. Link to the podcast, turning memes into dreams, pancakes in the pit. Let's go! So again, thank you, Nick and Connor, for being on the podcast. Can't wait to see you guys perform for the first time and have you back on the podcast because we're definitely doing this again. Be sure to check out the song 306. July 22nd is the release date, and go check them out July 23rd in Arlington, Virginia for some fun live music. On that note, that's going to be for me today, guys. So you're watching this to the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single one of them. The big, healthy, and hearty. See y'all. Yo.